All right, the Cavs take on the Raptors, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off on Thursday, March 24th, 2022. Toronto's -4 with the total at 215.5. And if you want to see my current personal betting record, you can actually do that for free right now by going to brockpage.com. My record's located right on the homepage. And following a terrible day of personal bets on that website, we're still hitting at 70% in our last 11 college basketball tier package bets on brockpage.com. And the link for today's college basketball tier package bet is in the description section below. Now, $1,000 bettors are up over $3,300 during that stretch of bets. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on my YouTube channel and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on brockpage.com is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, we currently have over 965 members who are signed up and active on that website. And just remember, guys, if you sign up for a membership here today on brockpage.com, you're actually going to get access to that package every single day, all the way through the end of March. Now, Toronto's lost 2 out of their last 3 ball games, and they actually have a losing record against the point spread at home this year. And if you think about it, well, the Raptors really haven't been great at shooting the basketball. These guys actually find themselves in the bottom 5 in the league in shooting from the field, and they're also amongst the worst in the association in shooting from the stripe. So these guys having difficulties shooting from the field, shooting from the foul line. Something to certainly be concerned about. Now, they're taking on a Cleveland team who plays some of the toughest defense in the NBA right now. The Cavs allow only 104 points a game, and they're actually in the top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, scoring-wise, Darius Garland averages 21 points a game, along with 3 boards and 8 assists. Meanwhile, Evan Mobley is scoring 15 points a game himself, and he's also grabbing 8 rebounds. And speaking of boards, the Cavs are also in the top 10 in the association in defensive rebounding per contest. Now, injury-wise, Rondo and Wade are out for Cleveland. Meanwhile, for Toronto on the other side, Anunoby and Trent are questionable for them. Flynn is also out with a hammy. Now, total-wise, Toronto saw 4 out of their last 5 fall under the line. They also went 70% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Cleveland saw unders recently with the likes of Chicago and this very Toronto team. I'm going to lean toward Cleveland +4 and the under 215.5. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Bulls versus the Pelicans, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Chicago's -1 with the total at 227.5. But despite being the better team in this one, the Bulls are actually battling some injuries here today. As a matter of fact, their top scorers, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, they're both listed as questionable with lower body injuries. Now, the Bulls have also played pretty much like dog crap over the past month or so. They lost 4 out of their last 5 ball games, and they've also won only 3 games since February 24th. And aside from winning only 44% of their road games this season, Chicago's biggest problem this year has been their defensive play. Pretty much talk about that every show when we handicap Chicago. These guys are currently in the bottom 3 in defending the three-pointer on the road. They're allowing 113 points a game in that very same category. Now, they're taking on a Pelicans team who is actually amongst the better rebounding teams in the entire association right now. These guys are actually in the top 10 in offensive boards per contest, and they're also in the top 3 in defensive rebounding per game. Jonas Valanciunas is averaging 11.5 rebounds per contest, along with 18 points. Meanwhile, C.J. McCollum's averaging over 26 points a night himself with New Orleans. 5 boards, 6 assists for C.J. Now, McCollum's also been very good shooting from 3-land. He's making nearly 40% of his shots from beyond the arc. When it comes to the scoring in this one, well, There's not many teams who do it better than New Orleans late in games. The Pels are in the top 3 in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring at home. Now, when it comes to the injury report in this one, Ingram is still out for the Pelicans. Meanwhile, for Chicago on the other side, once again, DeRozan and Levine are questionable for them. When it comes to the total in this one, Chicago saw overs recently with the likes of Utah and Atlanta. They've also allowed 117 points a game in their last 10 meetings with New Orleans. Meanwhile, the Pelicans on the other side, they saw 5 out of their last 9 get over the line themselves. Now, they also went 80% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Chicago. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward New Orleans +1 in the over 227.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Pacers versus the Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Memphis is -12.5 with a total at 235 and a hook. Now, both of these teams are in the second of a back-to-back here today, but it's clearly Memphis who has the advantage in this one. The Grizzlies are already at 50 wins for the year, and they're also winning over 71% of their home games. Now, in addition to leading the entire NBA in offensive rebounding, the Grizzlies are also in the top 3 in the association in home scoring per contest. Desmond Bane's drilling over 42% of his three-pointers. He's also scoring 18 points a game. Meanwhile, Dillon Brooks is averaging 17 points per contest himself, along with 3 boards and a couple assists. And speaking of boards, Memphis is also in the top 10 in defensive rebounding as well. They're taking on an Indiana team who lost 6 out of their last 9. And they also covered the number only 3 times during that span. Now, when it comes to playing on the road, well, the Pacers have not been good. They actually haven't even reached double-digit road victories yet. These guys are just 9-27 straight up away from home this year. And they also find themselves in the bottom 5 in defending the field goal. Now, injury-wise, Jackson, Smith, and Duarte are questionable. Meanwhile, for Memphis on the other side, Morant and Tilly are questionable to play for them. When it comes to the total in this one, 5 out of Memphis's last 7 got over the line. They're also 9-1 to the over in their last 10 meetings with Indiana. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Meanwhile, the Pacers saw overs recently with the likes of Cleveland, Washington, and this very Memphis team. I'm going to lean toward the Grizzlies, -12.5, and the over 235 and a hook. Next ball game, it is going to be Wizards versus the Bucks, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Milwaukee's -13, totals 233. And as little of a chance as Washington has of winning here, they are going up against a Milwaukee team who doesn't cover the number well at home. The Bucks are covering in only 40% of their contests at the Fiserv Forum, and they allow more third-quarter points per contest than any other team in the NBA. Now, they're taking on a Washington team here this evening who they've been pretty awful lately themselves, but they did cover in 2 out of their last 3 ball games. As a matter of fact, one of those covers I just mentioned was an outright victory over the Lakers, where they actually racked up 127 points in that victory. Now, Kristaps Porzingis is scoring over 20 points a game with his new ball club. 7 boards, 2.5 assists for the big man. Meanwhile, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is scoring 12.5 points a game himself, along with 3 rebounds. When it comes to shooting the basketball, Washington's actually in the top 10 in the NBA in offensive field goal percentage. Now, injury-wise, Kuzma and Carey are out. Meanwhile, for Milwaukee, Bembry and Middleton are out for them. When it comes to the total in this one, Milwaukee saw overs recently with the likes of Minnesota, Sacramento, and Oklahoma City. They also allowed 120 points a game in their last 10 meetings with Washington. Meanwhile, the Wizards went 80% to the over in their last 10 outings themselves. They also went 8-2 to the over in their last 10 contests against the Bucks. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Washington +13. And the over 233. With that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Suns versus the Nuggets. and that's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern start time. Denver's -4, totals 231.5. But despite being favored by a couple of buckets here, the Nuggets did lose 4 out of their last 7, and they've also really struggled covering the point spread here lately. These guys actually went just 3-6 against the spread in their last 9 outings, and they've also got themselves a losing record against the point spread in the Ball Arena this year. I believe they're covering at just 40% of their home games, or just right around there. And of course, speaking of home games, the Nuggets have had a tough time guarding the field goal in their own arena. Denver's currently in the bottom 5 in the NBA in defensive field goal percentage at home. Now they're taking on a Phoenix team on the other side of things who you really don't see them catching points all that often. So typically when you do, you kind of want to jump all over that. Phoenix is currently leading the entire NBA in shooting from the field themselves. So you got a Nuggets team who can't guard the field goal, and you got a Phoenix team who is better than anybody in the NBA at shooting from the field. So that could potentially be a bad combination here for Denver backers. Now, Phoenix is also 10-2 straight up in their last dozen, and they currently find themselves in the top 3 in the NBA in scoring on average per game. Now, Devin Booker is scoring 26 points a night along with 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Meanwhile, DeAndre Ayton's averaging 17 points a game along with double-digit rebounds. And speaking of boards, Phoenix is currently in the top 10 in the NBA in offensive rebounding per contest. Now, injury-wise, Johnson is questionable for the Suns here tonight. Meanwhile, for Denver, Najee is out for them. When it comes to the total in this one, Denver's 22-13 at the over in the Mile High City. They also went 80% to the over in their last 10 contests at any location. Meanwhile, Phoenix went 70% to the over in their last 10 ball games themselves. I'm going to lean toward Phoenix +4 and the over 231.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump. No, we're not going to jump into anything. That's it. It's over. That's going to do it for us. But before we get out of here, just got to quickly remind you about my website at brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on brockpage.com, you are going to get access to that content every single day all the way through the end of March. Although I do tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet that I give out on that webpage, you're going to want to think about signing up for my board member tier package. Not only do board members get access to the board member tier pick itself, you actually get access to every single bet that I give out on that website every single day, all the way through the end of March. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.